Alright, my boyos, we're going to be analyzing the Mortal Kombat 19-minute cinematic they released. It's not good. Alright, we're just going to jump right into it. It's an analysis. This isn't those reactions that you see of people going, wow, ha ha ha, wow, wow, interesting, ha ha ha, all that bullshit. Just straight, criticizing the dialogue, and the premise or plot points, you know what I mean? But first, before we get into it, I would like to introduce you to my queen. Actually, I'm sorry. That's the face model they used. That's like the person they hired and said, "Hey, could we use your face to make a character?" And she's like, "Yeah." So let me put the actual queen. I'm sorry. My brothers, clasp your hands in reverence to our queen. Can you imagine applying to be a face model and being like, "Oh, what characters have they used your face for?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, Tanya," and then they Google Tanya, and then they're like, "Wow." Like if I was a face model and then they did this, I'll be like, just don't even credit my name. Just give me my paycheck, please. Like, wow! This is off topic, but in Noir 2, there's this cool character. I would call her a cool female character done right, not, the female bosses that we have in Hollywood these days. Like, cool female character done wrong. So, there's a time lapse, I think 10 years or even longer, in the plot. And in the comments, someone asked, why isn't the character aged up like the rest of them? And then someone replied and said that the face model actress said, you're not allowed to, I don't know if she said desecrate, or, it's a Japanese game. But, like, you're not allowed to, like, desecrate or like ruin her beauty was basically what she was saying. And first of all, that's funny, right? But I think there's a humility in accepting that you're gonna get old, and you know what I mean. Like she says, getting older is uglier, which is true. Let's not be like, oh, older people are more beautiful. Men age like fine wine. No, look, the fact of the matter is you're shittier and uglier as you age. But, like, there's just a humility to accepting that instead of denying that. So for her to say, oh, you can't ruin my face like that. Like, first of all, it's a character. That's the reverse situation of this, in a way. Like, where, oh, you're not allowed to ruin my face. At the, how do I explain it? The behest of the plot, at the expense of the plot consistency, right? Like, obviously, she's going to look older in the future. So, it is what it is. I just thought it was a funny little tangent that's relevant. I'm going to, remind us to pay tribute to the queen by keeping her right here, where we can always remind ourselves of her existence and never forget. When you close your eyelids, I want you to have this face in your head. And I just need to say this one last thing about the face, because people are like, oh, you're just racist because like, they're equating her ugliness with because she's black. And they did the same thing with the new Chinese character in Street Fighter. And it's like, bro, I can go outside and see better looking black or Chinese women. If you think this is what a beautiful woman of this race looks like, you need to go outside. This is below average. Bro, it's like, it's so weird for you to be like, oh, you don't like her because of her race. And it's like, bro, you need to step outside, my friend. If you think that's not even average, bro. That's literally ugly below average. Wow.
My friends, your patience is about to be rewarded. For I have saved the best for last. I have recently discovered a cure-all of unrivaled potency. It will soon be on the shelves in every home of Outworld. This elixir is crafted. Now, magic this potent is expensive. And I am sure you're asking yourselves, can I afford it? But the true question you must ask is, can I afford to be without it?
You lie, Shang Tsung.
Oops, got caught. I love the facial expression. I think it's really good. Just that change from like, oh shit. Like, it's not super telling. He's not like, oh shit, he's not shitting his pants, but his eyes widened, and I think it was really good. Right, so we see the great and powerful sorcerer, Shang Tsung, reduced to a snake oil salesman. Some people were complaining that they fucked him over, right? I don't know if they meant they as in Liu Kang or they as in the writer, which, you know, the writers like to fuck everybody over, especially Reptile. But if handled well, this makes the greatest enemy an underdog. That gives him so much more room for growth. Right? Like, who doesn't like an underdog villain? And think of it like this. We know that Shao Kahn, or the General Shao, whatever, who looks like a Dragon Age 3 Kintari, whatever, base model, right? He looks like a jobber now. He's still a general. But Liu Kang went out of his way to make sure that Shang Tsung is just a snake oil salesman. So, even though he's fucked over in this line, that just shows how much of a threat Shang Tsung is to the stability of and world peace, right? So I think that's way more interesting than, oh, he's still a great sorcerer, he still has power and influence. Now he has to earn that power and influence.
Your cures are useless.
I'm sorry. You are?
Someone fool enough to have believed you. My daughter was dying when you came to my farm. You promised a miracle, and I gave you all I had. But only days later, she was dead.
That is impossible. My magic could not have failed her.
There was no magic! I took your elixir to an Imperial mage, and you know what she said? It's nothing! Just Bourgeois tea!
The mage is mistaken, kind sir. My elixirs are of superior quality. Their efficacy is guaranteed.
Yeah, so I'm gonna criticize the voice acting here a little bit, but he is about to get his ass beat, and the voice acting is just really stiff. It was pretty good up until this point, but he's just way too calm. There's no like fear in his voice. Like, I know again later it's revealed that he's, you know, acting to be an old man, but he's not acting afraid. So that's just a little critique of the voice acting.
What I want, Shang Tsung, is to elevate you, to make you the great sorcerer that now you can only pretend to be.
A generous offer. Why me?
You are uniquely resilient. Who else could eke out a living traveling Outworld's hinterlands, selling quack cures and fake magic?
Alright, so she's trying to gas him up by saying, wow, you're such a great snake oil salesman. That's why you're destined for greatness. What? He's a liar. He's a peddler. He's like, oh, I mean, the best thing you can say is he's a master of disguise, because hell, that was a really good disguise. But how are you gonna say that like a guy who's selling bullshit is destined to be a great sorcerer? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like at least he's not shown that he's tried to make a cure for something and failed. There's no like showing him that he's been at least practicing his alchemy or any sort of magic. You know what I mean? So, as just based on this, he's just a regular guy. Well, not regular, but he's just like a liar, just selling crap. So, there's no like hint of his magic. So that's just that.
A living. It is barely survival.
And you were meant for more. To live among kings, not peasants. But since before you were born, you have been conspired against.
So what's the implication here exactly, right? So she's obviously implying that Liu Kang, I don't know, changed the circumstances to where Shang Tsung, has no political influence and still hasn't explored his magical potential, right? But if Liu Kang had enough influence to do that, why didn't he just kill Shang Tsung, right? You can't say the butterfly effect, because this is an alternate timeline. There's no like, oh, an alternate future. What you do is the future. So why not just, if you're gonna do all this work to make sure Shang Tsung isn't a powerful person, just kill him. It's like, oh, I have this new alternate timeline where Hitler is born. Instead of killing him, or maybe just putting him in art school, maybe, I'm going to just make sure he never rises to power. Why not just kill him? Just prevent any possibility of what he may or may not do.
By those who fear how formidable you could become.
How do you know this? Who are you?
I am your deliverer, Shang Tsung. Join me, and I will put the realms at your feet.
Okay, so this is really annoying. Because later I'm going to talk about how heavy-handed the dialogue is in trying to set up the scene. But Shang Tsung is such a gullible liar. This bald, baby-faced bitch comes up to you with blue eyes and says, oh, the world is conspiring against you, join me. She provides no evidence that she has like any power or any knowledge of what she's talking about. So she could have easily been like, oh, Shang Tsung, when you were a baby and you farted when you slept over, I was there. She provides no evidence for her claims. And yet Shang Tsung buys her bullshit. It's like that thing where, like, oh, I'm so smart, no one could fool me. This would be the exact time to explore what Liu Kang actually did in changing his past. Like, oh, in this timeline, you were doing this at this age, but Liu Kang made sure you were poor. Like, she did none of that, where that dialogue would actually fit those plot points would actually fit the dialogue. The next scene, I'm going to explain to you how heavy-handed the dialogue is, in forcing the exposition down your throat. So, practice some throat exercises.
is a good harvest, Kung Lao.
Yes. It is a blessing, Raiden.
You would rather we starve?
No, of course not. But we've worked these fields since we were kids. In 40 years, we'll still be here. Stooped and feeble like Old Man Wei.
I'm going to be shitting on the dialogue in a minute, but this was actually pretty funny. I actually did laugh at this. The way the old man turns to them and then we zoom in the spit was pretty funny.
As long as I've known you, you've dreamed of leaving things young. Why can't you be happy here?
Our ancestors fought in great wars. They died with honor and glory. Stories of our great adventures will be passed down for generations.
It may not be glorious, but what we do helps the village thrive.
I know. But is it so wrong to want some excitement?
If that's what you want, may I suggest a bet?
Alright, wow. That's my content creator trademark. Wow. Alright, so first, I want to cover the purpose of dialogue. Dialogue is an action that a character takes in order to get something. Or express a view, but usually to get something. Like either the cooperation of another person, or, you know, their admiration, whatever. Alright, so what's the purpose of this dialogue? Alright, just to break it down. Kung Lao is just venting his boredom. Or his frustration that he feels like he should be doing something more important. Right? And Raiden is basically saying farming is fulfilling enough. Right? Because you're also feeding people, blah, blah, blah. Alright? But the very fact that I just described what happened, and it's almost the same as the dialogue itself, is the problem. If I tell you exactly what the character's trying to do in each line, and it lines up with basically what the character said, almost verbatim in words, that's a problem. You know, dialogue's supposed to have layers. And this is just bare bones dialogue, right? That's the first problem. The second problem is the exposition, the forced exposition. So exposition, the only way dialogue can naturally have exposition is if it's a tool in the dialogue itself. Like, the best way I can put it is blackmail. You have this piece of information, exposition, and this character is going to use it in his dialogue to blackmail another character. That's how exposition should, not as blackmail obviously, but as a tool for the character to use to get what they want. Now that's the right way to deliver exposition, not a dump. The second worst way, besides just a dump, like the Star Wars, you know, scrolling text, the second worst way is forced, purposeless dialogue. Right? So this conversation is forced, right? Because you see these two characters who are in their 20s having a conversation that they probably had 1,000 times, but acting as if it's the first. Oh, I'm bored of farming. Like, there's almost like no, like I've heard this conversation a million times from Raiden. Even from a humble character, he's probably at this point being like, bitch, shut up. I don't want to just grab that hoe and get to working. You know what I mean? Raiden, like, this, they act like it's the first time they're having this conversation. And that just exposes the purpose of this conversation, which isn't to express the characters' personalities or, you know, deeper wants and desires. It's just to tell the viewer about the setting. And that's why it's really bad.
Just a bet? Dinner at Madame Beau's tonight. Last to fill their cart pays.
You work faster than me? Ha! Since when? You're on, Raiden.
You haven't forgotten. But we'll see if I make you anything special tonight.
I'm glad you're paying. Madame Beau might just pad the bill with her anger.
I am paying? You finished work last.
But I delivered my cart first.
Delivered? Huh. The bet was filled.
That's not what I remember.
You're a fucking piece of shit, Raiden.
Last to fill their cart pays. Last to fill their cart pays. Last to fill their cart pays. Last to fill their cart pays.
You degenerate!
You were hungry.
Oh.
Everything was delicious, Madame Beau.
Thank you, Raiden. You boys are always a pleasure to cook for.
You look at the way Raiden is looking down at the money and then back up to make eye contact like, hey, you can stop me anytime. You like cooking for us, right? This is on the house, right? He's just waiting for her to say, hey, it's on the house. That's good enough. Just the way he's looking down and up, like, after every bill. Oh, man. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if that's on purpose because of the previous incompetencies. You know what I mean? It's like, it would be fun to say, like, this was on purpose and I'm right, but I'm not. I can't be sure.
Madame Beau, the Lin Kuei await your answer.
I have been busy, Smoke.
The Lin Kuei? Who are they?
Don't know.
Why are they acting like a bunch of random people dressed in ninja costumes? They're okay. So, the Lin Kuei are acting like, you know, like the mafia. And these ninja jobbers aren't acting like trained ninja assassins or even like thugs, right? And they're not acting professional. They're acting like they got a bunch of random people to cosplay as ninjas and they're waiting for the photo shoot. Again, I have to question if this is on purpose or it's just incompetence. You know what I mean? It's just not good. And we're going to get into it scene by scene. But like this, oh, this is a serious matter. Oh, this is a joke. It's like, you can't have it both ways. Either this is a serious situation where the Lin Kuei are now acting as like thugs or protection mafia racket, or this is just just a big joke. It's just annoying that I won't pick.
But I don't like where this is going.
What do we do?
Stay ready.
Madame Beau, it is a simple choice. Pay for our protection, or risk harm to this fine establishment.
You'll get nothing from me.
That, Madame Beau, is unfortunate.
I have to say that was pretty funny, watching an old lady get beat up. Top 10 out of 10 stars, funny.
Bull!
You two are brave, but against us, you are in over your head.
We don't care who you are or who you are with. You will not menace Madame Beau. Now who's in over his head? This was you?
Honestly, I'm surprised too.
Come on, let's help Madame Beau.
Alright, I just want you guys to keep in mind what I said about Shang Tsung and how it's okay, he's just a snake oil salesman now. And I also want you to keep in mind one of the bigger problems with MKX's story. Alright, so.
How does he do that?
I have no idea.
Look, I want you guys to keep in mind that the Grand Master of the clan and two of his probably best, I don't want to say henchmen, but his best members all came to extort this business. Were they a threat before? Why would you need all three of your best people at this place? Right? Just keep that in mind.
Interfere with Lin Kuei business. Leave or face our wrath.
Abandon Madame Bo. Not happening.
Oh boy. I don't know if you guys caught this, but during like the trailer, the first trailer they showed, where they basically showed this scene, I didn't know Sub-Zero being on the roof and then this happening were two like scenes one after another. Why? I'm going to show you why. Alright, so imagine, I need you to imagine a clock, right? You know, like, oh, check your 6. Oh, check your 6 because I'm going to put my dick in it. So we have Sub-Zero on their 12, maybe 11, right? So that's in front, maybe to the, like, front left of them, right? The stairway is to Raiden's 3 o'clock, right? To his right, okay? So Sub-Zero's 12 o'clock. The stairway is on his right, okay? So explain to me how Sub-Zero jumps forward onto Raiden and they go down the stairs. If I jump at you from the front of you, we're gonna hit what's behind you, which would, you know, be the railing or Kwang Lao. How do I jump at you? How do I tackle you from the front? And then we go down the stairs on your right. I would have to be on your left, or the stairs would have to be behind you. Okay, so I'm gonna play the whole thing again, and you're gonna see what I just said. It's gonna pop in your mind.
How does he do that?
I have no idea.
You interfere with Lin Kuei business. Leave or face our wrath.
Abandon Madame Bo. Not happening.
Okay, so I'll admit, it kind of looked cool, right? And they really nailed the impact. But there's just something off about the way he is being pulled, and he just comes to almost a complete stop. I understand the idea that maybe he put his foot down on something that stopped him, and then he used like the inertia or whatever to like move his other leg and swing around. But it just looked weird. Like when he came to a complete stop, there was no like motion to it, right? Like if he came to a complete stop. He didn't like bend his leg a little bit because, you know, of the force of being pulled against the object he stopped against. He went to like freeze frame, stop, jump, kick, flip. Right? I'm gonna show it to you in slow motion. Maybe I'm wrong. The best I can say is they really did nail the impact. The impact of Scorpion looks pretty good.
want more? I have plenty.
You should have fled when you could. Prepare to regret ever crossing the Lin Kuei.
Fight!
It is you who will regret crossing me.
They sacrificed the tension of the protagonist, losing this fight for a joke, an absurdist joke, right? Oh, ha, 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 he doesn't care that the mafia here are extorting the place that he's drinking his tea at. He's just gonna get a piece of ice. All these jokes that they're sacrificing the tension for, they're not like worth it. And then also when you inflate the media with all these jokes, it just makes the other jokes less impactful. You know what I mean? It's like if you're willing to throw out the tension, the comedic relief, there's no relief. It's just less valuable. So it's not worth the sacrifice to make a joke at the expense of tension. Sometimes, sure, but like we have the protagonist losing a fight right now. This is not the time for a lame joke.
Incompetent.
Oh, that works.
Alright, I did get a chuck out of this, but it's the same idea of sacrificing. Like, he ruined his element of surprise to throw a straw hat at him. Like, what was even the point of that? Like, is this all just one big joke? He had the element of surprise and he threw it away to throw a straw hat. Or if you're gonna argue that he's like trying to be honorable, I mean, I guess maybe he would still throw the straw hat, but I don't know. Like, again, just he could have also killed the bystander right there with the blade he just threw. So it's like he doesn't give a shit that he could have killed an innocent person. I mean, I guess that person doesn't give a shit. He should have left. If he dies, he deserves it.
I have had enough of you.
Then go, before I put you down like the rest of your Lin Kuei.
You haven't a prayer against the Lin Kuei's Grand Master.
Are you sure you're a Grand Master?
Alright, so this is what I was alluding to earlier about the power levels in this game. These two guys are just two farmer boys who practice, kung fu. And these three, Smoke, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion, are supposed to be like mafia ninjas. I keep on saying mafia because, that's extortion and protection, all bullshit. But you're telling me Kung Lao, a farmer guy, beat these three ninjas? Come on, okay, there's no room for growth. Let us play as the bad guys if you have to. Have like a consistent story where if the player wins the fight, he wins in the story. Let us play as Sub-Zero. Why are the good guys always winning? I mean, I know like how the good guys always win. That's fine. It's just like there's no room for growth if the good guy farmer boys are winning fights against Grandmaster ninjas. It's like, imagine if Sub-Zero was your favorite character. You just got beat by a farmer boy. Again, it's just the plot. Like, when they're doing the plot, they should have started with, okay, Sub-Zero is up here. He's above these characters, and maybe Kwang Lao is gonna level up to be able to beat this character. It's like they didn't even start there. They just said, "Oh yeah, Kwang Lao is gonna beat the 3 Grandmaster Ninjas in the very first fight of the game." What? He's still a farmer boy. He needs to grow. Let them lose. Let your characters lose. Let us play as Sub-Zero and kick all these farmer boy asses. Or Smoke, or it doesn't matter. Actually, give us a choice. That'd be nice. It doesn't make sense that these 3 Grandmaster Ninjas lost to these 2 farmer boys. Come on. There's just no room for growth for these characters. They're already beating Grandmasters. They're probably playing with modern controls.